Hello, and thank you for clicking on the play button on the video. You have now just entered into the world of the Kula Yoga Shala teacher feature interview for February 2014, and we're chilling in the Buddha Bar with Suzee Edwards. Hello.
Hello.
Thanks for being here on a Friday afternoon.
Thank you.
Suzee teaches Yin Yang Fusion at 9 a.m. on Tuesday mornings in Studio A. And she's here to talk a little bit about her class so you can get to know her better than just reading about her on the website. What you're going to do, right? And so, Suzee, could you maybe start just giving people a little bit of a sense of what yoga is all about for you, and how you got into practicing in the first place?
I started practicing, actually. I'm from California, from Los Angeles, and I started practicing. I don't know if I'd call it a practice at that point. I was just going because we were all going, and it was the thing to do.
It's California, after all.
California. It's just what we did. Yoga mat, water bottle, we were good to go. And
Goji berries.
Goji berries, all of that.
Some kale.
Yes, how'd you know? And of course, I felt great afterwards. I felt like I got this great workout. I was breathing. I always said that it felt like I had this great massage afterwards, you know? But then when I moved to Jupiter, actually, Florida, is when my practice actually became a practice and a little deeper. I was pregnant with my second child, my daughter, when I moved here, and, you know, having kids just changes your life, and I was looking at my life at a totally different level, and now I was actually listening to what the teachers were saying, and really beginning to connect that more of the emotion at that point in time was like just a little bit deeper. And then I was teaching a dance class, and I was using some yoga as well to teach a dance class, and it just, you know, I just started to get deeper and deeper into my practice with yoga at that point in time, because it just blossomed as far as my spiritual practice with yoga. It wasn't about the physical at that point anymore. So, good blend.
So we're talking about maybe 2008, yeah, something like that?
Yeah, you know, don't you?
I do know, because I know when you started teaching.
I know. So, I guess that's what happened next, is that I took, at that time when I was teaching dance and I was using some yoga, I really wanted to take a teacher's training because I wanted to teach it properly. And
Always a good thing.
and yeah, right, that's good.
It's crazy.
And you know, at the same time, magically, Scott decided to do a teacher training, his first one.
First one, that's right.
Yay. And I signed up right away. I think
Old
I was
school.
like, yes, now, right now, yeah. And I signed up, so excited. And I think at that point in time, I was thinking that I was just taking it to help me teach. And of course, I loved it. And I wanted to learn more about what it was that I was practicing.
Sure.
But then honestly, at that point in time in my life, I was going through like a rough patch. And in teacher training, of course, you're learning about the philosophy, and you're learning just about yoga and life and the mind stuff. And it was all connecting, and it was all just like coming down on at me like from all angles. It was just beautiful how it was unfolding for me, but definitely emotionally.
Just confronting.
Yeah. And it was perfect because I was learning what was happening basically to me and how I was reacting to everything, and meanwhile getting this amazing training to teach it as well. And pretty much by the end of training, I was basically done with the dancing, and I knew I'd be teaching yoga full time, because there was no way I couldn't teach what I just learned
It's like
and
coming out
share
of
it with someone else. Yeah, so that's how I got into teaching.
And so then you followed that through and you added, right, you did the Anusara immersions and teacher training with Christy down in Miami, and then You've also added another element to your professional side, which is life coaching, yeah?
I did. With the Handel group. I love the Handel group. Yeah, they're great. I feel like it has taken my yoga life into an even deeper, more, I call it yoga on steroids, because it's definitely about integrity, you know, and I think that's what we're basically teaching in yoga, is to find your happiness, find who you are without all that ambition and ego, and to live from that space with integrity. And at that point, when you discover that about yourself, what it is, again, without the guilt, obligation, and all that stuff that's going on, and who you want to be, and you live from that space, I mean, that is integrity. And there's that connection where it just feels so much more free, and you're more alive, and you're more connected spiritually, emotionally, physically. You're now doing the things you want to do because you love to do them.
It's beautiful, and to me I feel like it's such a necessary part of the yoga path. I mean, it's one thing to come take a practice, it's another thing to live from that place, like you said.
Yeah,
So it seems like a perfect match. And then I guess a question I had for you too would be to talk about how those different influences, so you talk about these heart teachings and philosophy, and Anusara, it's alignment and it's spirituality, and the life coaching, and your love for like the real kind of active, expressive, the dance, and then also that kind of introspective, restorative-esque type, you know, it all coming together. So the class is yin-yang fusion, and it seems like the perfect environment to start, you know, making the yoga mat a canvas, so to speak, and painting all these different things that you can do. So could you talk for a couple minutes about the class itself?
Yeah, so it is pretty eclectic in that way. It is yang and followed by restorative. So for me, the yang part is not necessarily flow all the time or anything like that. It is about alignment. It is about feeling it in the body first, because I think a lot of times that's just what we need to do first, is breathe, connect, feel it in the body, and kind of move the prana, the energy around. Get stronger, get more flexible, and then to take it to a more meditative side with restorative, kind of like yin, except for being using props like the bolsters and the blocks and the earth, you know. And it's amazing that just a combination. I love that combination, because then it flows really well to Shavasana, which is my favorite pose. And I love that meditative side, and I want to basically be able to marry how you feel in restorative is the way I'd like for you to feel in the actual physical, the more yang practice. That same mindset to flow throughout, you know, the everyday yoga practice, just how you are with people, you know, everything.
Just life in general.
Just life in general.
Cool. And we have a minute left. Anything you'd like to close with, just sharing with people in general about, you know, their yoga practice, you know, whatever, maybe something that's really inspired you that you've taken away most from being on this path?
The biggest thing that I've learned, you know, is to have that connection, to find that thing that you love, again, without that ambition and the ego, and finding who you really are, all that attachment. And then when you live from that space, so much easier to say yes to what you need to say yes to, and no to what you need to say no to. It becomes authentic. And that's basically what we're all trying to be and live, and how to live. It's authentically.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste.